Welcome back to another one. It is Pulse Customs and Resale and Repair. Back at you with another one. We're gonna go back a little bit. Got this PS2 Fat, as you can tell right here. I've already written out what the problem may be. This is from a lot that I had that I bought from someone. Bought several different systems from the lot. So these are pre-labeled already, even though I hadn't tested them, but we're going to test it. As you can tell, I got everything set up. It says power's on. This doesn't load sticky tray. So let's see what we got. As you can tell, I already got everything lined up. Don't have my controller in there just yet, but you're going to hit this power, which we have power. You can tell from that right there. And let's cut on and see what happens. Perfect. So let's see what the tray does. Ooh, that tray does have a little lag on there. It went back in itself. I didn't push it back in. Could have been the cord. Let's try it one more time. Yeah, that's rough. It's doing that on its own. So we could have a roller issue. See, this front is sticking out just a little bit. I'm going to throw this in there just in case so we can see the totality of what we are looking at. Got PS2 game here. My test game, DaVinci Code. It's known working. Sorry guys, I'm working with one hand right now, so let's get that out of there. Now, as much as I really don't want to put this disc in here, that's why I said test this. We're gonna make it quick, get on up in there like swimwear, and see what happens. Will it play? Will it work? I don't hear any spinning, guys. Yeah, don't hear any spinning. So, still saying reading disc, but I don't hear it spinning. I don't feel it spinning either. Alright, well, let's crack this baby open and see what happens. Alright guys, let's get to it. So, I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. You can take the expansion cover off. I don't mind all my junk over there. Alright, so up underneath this is, I'm going to tell you guys what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my larger screwdriver because I'm going to be over straining my hand. Up underneath these pads here are screws, these soft pads and the center ones. All you want to do is just kind of get in the corner of that thing to get them up. Set them off to the side. suspected. Be careful when you take this off, guys. Now, granted, I call this thing the roach box. So I'm always looking for roaches and all that jazz. I really don't like working on these things because they're the roach box in my book. But be careful because you do have the power ribbon over here. And you will need to unhook it. It's easier to just unhook it from the top of the mechanism. And free it from the lid. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, so it's easy just to pull it up and out, so you're not putting too much stress on that ribbon. And that's it. So we're going to clean this up and dust as we go, guys, per usual. I do have a new filter in this thing. That's a little quick cleanup for us. Because what we're getting ready to focus on is over here, the disk drive. So what I want to do, so I can take a pretty decent look at the rollers, I'm just going to take out one, two. Well, first I need to untape this and lay that off to the side. But there are a total of 4 Phillips screws on the top part of this disk drive that we're going to unscrew. And guys, do what's necessary to keep up with your screws. Alright guys, so what we will end up putting on these rails is some white lithium. However, we're going to take it a step back really quick. I got a little bit ahead of myself. Because reality is, I did not hear this baby making any noises when we first tested it. Shouldn't say tested it. Tested. So, and these go into little grooves, guys, so be careful. That's back in the groove. We're going to throw a bolt back in here. So I think a bolt should be fine. And what we're going to do is we're going to need the lid, because the lid has this magnetic thing that keeps that disc in place. Now you can pop this out, and that might be what I do for you guys, because there's quite a bit of dust in here. You can pop this out and use that just to stick on there. See how that sticks? To keep your disc in place. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. So let's go back, because we still got our buttons hook up, and that was the whole point of keeping this attached. Let's hook this back up really quick. Get the wire, TV cable, so that we can see what it's hitting for. Power cable back. Stairs over here crying. I don't know why. Something happened. Alright, so you cut that part on first. You see you got your light. We are going to hit the power on this. Oh, TV. So y'all see that thing moving slow? Y'all see that, right? Then not spin. Then not spin. It tried for a second. Remember I said it didn't seem like it was getting any spinach. So without the disc on top, let's see. We're gonna reset it. Let's see if our laser moves. And what we'll do, we'll kind of force our laser up a little bit up there, just to see if we get any movement. So I'm gonna reset it. Y'all see that? Y'all hear that? So I think we may have an issue because in the past I worked on a PS2 before, and I'll tell you one of the issues that I had. Actually, excuse me, it was a PS2 Slim. There was some soldering issues, or some issues with the solder on the part right here. Motor was fine to maneuver the laser back and forth. However, this area here that's supposed to make the disc spin around along with everything else was not wanting to be my friend. Yeah, see that once. So first thing we're going to do, we're probably going to do a potentiometer adjustment. See if that helps us out. See if that works. And then we'll go from there. So let's first get this rail and everything cleaned up, greased up. And then we go from there, okay? So we're going to cut the power. Right. Oh, so let's take our disk drive out, which are these 4 bolts here. Make sure you realize that the golds are on the back, the silvers are on the front. The length and everything on there is different. That's why I tell you that. Alright. So we will go ahead and lift. Be gentle with it, because I will tell you, your ribbons are still in here. I'm also doing this. Shout out to my Holy Hungry patrons, Tidder and Taylor Hilton. Thanks very much for your support, guys. And everyone else who supports. And I will tell you, it's a pain. When it comes to putting this ribbon back and forth in there. Alright, I'm sorry I keep looking at it, but alright, so I also like to check my teeth over here, because sometimes that can get all hung up. Oop. Don't push that back too much. Alright guys, so I'm not going to take the ribbon all the way off. The ribbon is hard for you guys to see this. I want you guys to be able to see this ribbon is up there. Sometimes it's difficult. What I'm going to do, you see the two bolts underneath right here? The screws, I should say. Those are your potentiometer where you can adjust. Okay, so we're going to get a reading first, of course, and then we're going to adjust. All right, we'll be back. I'm going to take a little white lithium grease and put on the rails. Don't want to spread it too, don't want to put too much on there. But we want to place some on here to ensure how freely it can roll. And we also want to put it just a little bit on the rail. Still got some dust up in here, guys. Make sure yours does not. We'll dirty it.
Now, even though a lot of that sole gets separated, most of what you're seeing here is actually new horn already. There's just a few patches up above that are still open, and those are the ones we need to take care of.
Now, earlier I was showing y'all how to push this back and forth. The laser by pushing it is best to do it this way.
You all know what's coming next. Use that abrasive disc
and make sure it goes back and forth, up and down. See how nicely fluid that motion is? And the reason why you want to rotate this area here is because this little plastic part has some teeth underneath it that if you damage it, it could be problematic. All right, so we got that oiled up pretty well. Let's put,
now, as I alluded to at the beginning of this video, it's actually this left front foot that she was showing.
two of these screws back in so we can see what happens when we power it. I'm going to do diagonal.
Well, it lends itself to this idea. A lot of times we associate these problems on medial claws or these white
so I just think that's what's best.
Slipping or things like that. But I don't think that's necessarily always the case. This illustrates that. Likely what I think happened here is we had a white line develop on that lateral claw. In order for her to compensate.
Now, in the event this does not do what I think it should end up doing, which is maneuvering and I can hear it rotating and all that jazz, I'm going to have to adjust the potentiometer. Don't forget to put lithium grease on your rail, inner rail that's in here. Moving that back and forth.
But not necessarily because the cows are slipping.
And just make sure this is actually seated correctly.
Luckily, everything on this
I like to start from this area because it lets me know I'm in there like I need to be.
We have problems on both these claws. Well, you can find the answer to that on my channel page, where I've got a video that covers exactly that.
There we go. Seated right. Another one in the smaller screws. Again, we're not ready to button this all the way down. So we just put a few screws in to lock it down as much as we can.
You might be asking yourself, is that going to change the way she walks?
Now,
the answer is no. Because we've got
put my power back here.
Correct plane on these, and we've applied blocks to those other claws. That allows this cow to walk with a normal gait, able to put her feet in the speaker the way she's supposed to. Like I said,
need to pull my cord up a little more.
Those claws is correct. We're not going to have moving pressures being applied to any certain points on those claws. Even though we're putting more
Place that inside. Alright, my TV went off, so let me cut that back on. And what we want to be able to see is if the disk drive does what I need it to do. I'll go ahead and throw a disc in there as well. I did clean the lens, guys, with a little IPA. Hit the switch. It's on. Let's power it on. It's giving me a little movement. A little more than it was earlier. However, it's still not reading. So strong possibility we may have to adjust that potentiometer.
Let's get this hook wrapped up. See how she performs after coming in for her 2-tire pit stop. Yes. Here she is on those 2 new tires, and there she goes. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you.
And we are not getting a disc read. So let's adjust that potentiometer, because that looks like that's what our issue is going to be. Alright guys, so I've skipped a few parts as far as the disassembly. Basically the only part that I skipped is you need to push up on these tabs this direction in order to remove the ribbon. Then it allows you the ability to, instead of having to unhook the other 2 ribbons, which would be complicated in putting them back in, more so than this one, the ribbon to the lens. You can lay this up toward the side and adjust this to where you can start making your adjustments or measuring before you make adjustments to your potentiometer. So I'm getting ready to measure one side. There's 2 potentiometer points on here. This side here is for your CD, and this side is for DVD. DVD being more leaning toward games. So the issue that we're having right now, I didn't test for a CD, so I'm not going to really mess with the CD right now side. I'm also concerned about the DVD side. I'm getting a little bit of spin, but I'm not getting much spin when it comes to this particular potentiometer, this side. My measurement for my CD, what you want to do, you can, as I showed you guys before, you can place the ground in the middle. The left leg is where you're actually going to be picking up your measurement. My measurement for the CD side is 1.326. Like I stated, we're not going to mess with that too much. And my side for the DVD is 1.075. Definitely want to notate that because we're going to be making some slight adjustments. Not too much though. We really don't want to get, with the PS2 Fat, we really don't want to get below 850 ohms. So we are going to just make a slight adjustment to the right, I believe it is. And I'm going to have to, instead of using a Phillips, use a flat head. And guys, just be as gentle as possible in making this adjustment, because we don't want to be moving this too far. So I believe it's actually counterclock. Or is it clockwise? Let's try counterclock first. Just slightly. kind of moved it just a tiny bit, but not a lot. So let's see if we're going up or down too anyway. All right, so that went slightly up. So I do want to go clockwise, not counterclockwise. All right, I'm at 898 on that, so I'm gonna leave it right there for now. And it's gonna be a couple times we have to go back and forth adjusting this and buttoning it back up, so probably gonna try to kind of speed through it. You want to maneuver your laser upward so your ribbon will be closer. It'll make your life a little bit easier putting it back on there. So I have to try to lean this forward. Sorry guys. This angle is definitely not going to be the best for you guys. This so that I could actually get this in there. Or back in there. Well, first of all, there we go. Because I do not have that right. So I said this laser, this ribbon here, guys, is a pain. Sometimes. You just want to make sure you're placing it in correctly because you don't want to mess up those ends on here. I really want to take a peek, but I don't need to be taking a peek. Jesus. Just be as gentle with this thing as possible. Alright, my ribbon is down. I'm gonna double check to see if it's in, to which it should be all the way in. And it is. So now I'm going to do a slight reverse of what I did earlier. Alright, give me a second guys, I'm trying to rush and I don't know why I'm trying to rush, but take your time in doing this. this area. All right, guys. Basically, this was a bust. This was a no fix. What ended up starting happening? The game was actually lagging. The disk drive, I should say. It was playing after maybe like a minute of it sitting, which we don't really want to lag. So we definitely got to be mindful of that. But as you guys know, we always come back to our projects. But unfortunately, this one was no good, no bell. So, guys, you know what I want you to do. I want you to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Please, please, please. You want to be here for the next one. You don't want to miss it. Pulse Customs, Resale, and Repair. We're here with you guys. Back at another one. We're here to learn and do our thing. So, I hope you enjoy. Peace.